Welcome to Tanya Today. I'm Rabbi Fine, coming to you from Montreal, Canada, where it's a privilege and a pleasure to share with you the Tanya. Erica, shalom to you in Norway. John in North Carolina, shalom. And to Robert in Boston, welcome. Davida and Liba, twin sisters, good morning in New York. AJ is with us. And June in Australia, where it's late, very late. JG in Holland, shalom. Tim in Texas, Boker Tov. Diane is in Arizona with us. Andrea in Phoenix. Lori in North Carolina, if I recall. Eugenia in Calgary. Good morning. Zara is with us in Malaysia. Welcome. Natina in Canada. Michael in Germany. Shalom. Who else is with us? Betty, Katie in Texas. Welcome. Anna in New York. Darren in the Philippines. Good evening. In California, we have David. We have Esther in St. John's. Is that St. John's, Newfoundland? We have Vilma and Batya and Margot, Norm. Welcome, Norm. Michelle, Luz, Tim. With us, Clubhouse, Instagram, we have Sandy, Yenta Telabenta, Andy, Connie, Marilyn from Delaware, Easy, Akoy in Peru. All right. We conclude today the fourth chapter. Fourth chapter, one word, levushim, garments. It's the garments that make the man. And what is garments? Thought, speech, and action. As opposed to emotions are not garments. Garments are something you can take on and off. You could choose what you want to think. You can choose what you want to say and what you want to do. But you can't choose what you want to feel. And you can't choose the perspective that you're going to have on life. You can't just choose that. That's a hard work. So if your nature is seeing the cup half empty, and you want to work on that nature that you have, that emotional disposition of seeing the cup half empty, it's a lot of work, because that's an emotional disposition, and that's not something that you can put on and off. But what you could do is, you may not have that emotional disposition, but you could choose to think that the cup is half full. You could choose to talk that way and to act that way, even though emotionally you aren't that way. Even though you're emotionally not that way. That's the concept of levushim, right? Here, the reference of the levushim, of the garments, are in reference to the godly soul, and that the godly soul, in its self-expression of the garments of self-expression, is in a godly way, meaning through Torah mitzvahs, through thinking as we're doing right now, I hope. I hope we're not just, this is, shall we say, what's it called, music, like elevator music. You put it on the background and, you go about your activity. Meaning to say that the Torah lesson that we're learning, the Tanya that we're learning, is not being thought. It's not being thought. and therefore comprehended. Um, as a result, there isn't a bond that's being made with God as a result. Because you need the levushim, you need the garments that we think the words of Torah as they're being expressed. Say the words, or say the words of prayer, or the action of a mitzvah, of giving charity, or putting on tefillin and the like. And what do we learn over here? That when the godly soul engages in that, in those garments of self-expression, it has a bond with God himself. As we explained, that God condensed his infinite being and put it into 613 commandments and put it into the Torah. That we have access not to just his mere wisdom, array of that wisdom, but we have access to God himself. And as we explained yesterday, just to remind ourselves, the chiddush, the novel idea over here. I'm teaching right now, and what I'm teaching, no one's getting my brain. You're getting a ray of light from my brain. That's what you're getting, right? That's what you're getting, a ray of light. And that's what you would think that you would get from God and his teachings. A ray of light of God. No, we're not getting a ray of light of God. We're getting him, the essence of him, the very core of God. That when we grasp what we're learning in Tanya now, we are attached to him. We're attached to him. Now, where do you get a ray of light? It is actually in Olam Haba, in Gan Eden. In the Garden of Eden, after 120 years of our time here, then you know what you do? You do get a ray of light. And that's all you get is a glimmer. And that's called Nenin Miziva Shechina. That the soul has a pleasure from the Ziv, which means a ray of the Shechina, of the divine presence of God. Now, true, you will experience it, but all you're experiencing is a ray of light of God. And that's why our sages say that 1 hour of repentance and good deeds and doing a mitzvah in this world is more valuable, is greater than the pleasure derived, than the whole life of the world to come. So 1 hour here, and our life should be prolonged many hours, many days, right? But for 1 hour that you could do a mitzvah, you attach yourself to the essence of God. As opposed to when people think, oh, this world is, just the gateway for the next world. And, let me rally up as many good, mitzvahs I can over here, brownie points over here. So in the next world, I'll really get a good experience. I'll get a front row seat. So, and many people look at it that way. As a matter of fact, every other faith really is that way. And even in Judaism, you could see something that way. But if you understand more deeply, as we're learning over here, it's not the case. No mind can comprehend God, so therefore the soul, when it leaves this world and goes to Gan Eden, to the world to come, is getting just a mere glimmer, because that's all we can get. Except for the fact that God contracted, he condensed himself, he clothed himself in Torah and mitzvahs, that he is one with the Torah and the mitzvahs that he put himself into. And therefore, when we do a mitzvah here, by way of illustration, what we're really doing is embracing the king. Now, the king may wear many royal garbs, but if you give a hug to a king, right, Think about it. Whether he's wearing one garb or 7 garbs, right? 7 layers. What are you doing in there? You're embracing him. Well, that's what we're doing right now, folks. We're embracing God right this moment because we have the garment of our thoughts, that we are focused in and understanding the teachings of Tanya. We are having an embrace. We're embracing the King. It doesn't matter how many robes he's wearing. Robes, sort of like, in other words, the fact that it might be expressed in a physical mitzvah that we're talking about, or a physical act of a mitzvah, doesn't matter. Now, we embrace God, and he's embracing us at the same time. So it's not just, sometimes you give a hug to somebody and, they don't respond. Right now, we're hugging God. Him, not a ray of him, not his intelligence, because even though this is his intelligence, this is his divine wisdom, but it's totally bound up in one with him. So we are totally being bound up with him. We're bound up, we're embracing him, and he's embracing us. And as we will see in the next chapter, the uniqueness of this idea when it comes to Torah study. Okay, let's unpack this powerful idea. I mean, it's an idea that comes up from time to time throughout Tanya of, in Gan Eden, there's a great experience. I've got to tell you, there's for sure a great experience there. Having that ray of light of the divine presence of the Shekhinah. And here, right now, we don't sense the experience. That we're bound up, we're embracing God intellectually. Hopefully we understand it and we embrace the idea and we appreciate the idea and how powerful the idea is. But can I really say that that's what I'm experiencing right now? I know it to be the truth. There's no doubt it's the truth. But just because it's the truth doesn't mean I'm experiencing it in my soul. So tzaddikim today will be able to experience that. But you and I, we need to be aware of that. And that's why sometimes it might be more tantalizing for a person to get a ray of something, but they experience it. Right? They're feeling it. They're there. Right? Totally. And true. Hi. So true, we don't experience it now. We will experience it in Gan Eden, but a mere ray. And that is very tantalizing. And therefore, we make a mistake and we think because we're seeking experiences, and especially a divine experience, well, then that's the place to be. That's where I gotta put my efforts. So, I'll do things now in order that I can have that great experience later. No. Even though you don't experience it right now, but what you're connecting to is to God himself. You're embracing him, not a ray. Not some sunshine of God, but God himself. And we have to constantly go reiterate this and bring it home, because again, the human condition is we're always looking for a meaningful experience, a deep rooted, something that's going to touch me, and not to say that there isn't something here to be touched. There is. There is. So, a powerful idea. So as a result, our sages say, because of that, 1 hour of tshuva, penitence, and good deeds, mitzvahs, in this world is far better than all of the life of the world to come. That's how powerful it is. One simple mitzvah that you take a coin and put it into a pushka. One simple thing like that. That's extremely powerful. Chaim. All right, let's open this up. Questions, comments. I see there are some questions. Let me get to on. All right. Ooh, I think the first question we have is from Davida. Do we get a ray of light while our neshama is waiting in a goof before we come down in this world? Yeah. Yes. Before we come into this world, yes. We're getting a ray of light. Lori, can our mitzvah completed in memory of a loved one who has died bring them joy? Absolutely. For sure. A loved one that passed away cannot do a mitzvah, but you can do a mitzvah for them. And you can affect their neshama, that their neshama should have a greater experience in Gan Eden, of a greater light of the Shekhinah. Yeah, absolutely, Laurie. Thank you for asking. Anna, how do we know God embraces us? Why God needs something from us, little people? Just by faith. How do we know? Because the Alter Rebbe told us. That's how we know. The sages in the Talmud told us. The sages in the Talmud said that 1 hour of penitence and mitzvahs in this world is better than all of the world, of the life, the world to come. It's a statement from the sages in the Talmud. So the Torah is telling us this. The Alter Rebbe is kind enough to explain to us the idea of why is that, and giving us an intellectual understanding of how it is that here we get the royal embrace. As we explained, got to his infinite being, condensed it and put it into 613 mitzvahs. He put himself there. That when we think, speak, and do any of the commandments, we are embracing him. He's embracing us. So the Torah is telling us that. That's how we know. Otherwise, how do we know anything? Not because I was in Gan Eden and, I came back to tell you something. I'm not privy to it. So either we trust the Alter Rebbe's teachings, and that he's sharing with us, words of Torah, the words of God, and we accept that, or we struggle. Emotions, Laurie, are not garments, but our thoughts do affect our emotions. Yes. Emotions are not garments, exactly. Thoughts are, speech is, and so is action. Yeah. And how do we... Ooh, I'm sorry, Anna. Could you rewrite what you wrote? Because it's very... I'm not clear on what your question is. All right, Clubhousers. Any questions, any comments? Norm, I haven't heard from you for a while. And Marcy also. All right, a quiet day. Must be after Hanukkah, the lights of Hanukkah. Okay, don't see on Instagram any questions. All right. Andrew, can we do a mitzvah in the Messianic age in times of Mashiach? Absolutely. The whole purpose of Mashiach is that we should be able to do mitzvahs, that we should be able to have what we're talking about now, that we, right now, in our mind's eye, we can see, so to speak, in our mind's eye, and we're studying now and we're embracing God, and God is embracing us. Mashiach comes, it won't be just in the mind's eye. It'll be in the physical eye. It'll be very real. It'll be palpable. Just like this cup of water, l'chaim, is real and palpable. So likewise, will be real and palpable. This idea that we're learning right now, it'll be an idea that we will truly experience. That's Mashiach. Thank you, Andrew. And it says, I struggle with blindly following anything without understanding the why. Well, I hope that, in the last 5 lessons, we've done chapter 4, and I hope that we've given a lot of Chabad, Chachma Bina V'das, wisdom, understanding, and knowledge to the concept over here. And it's not just a mere, blind acceptance. That it is something that, I get in, I'm inspired intellectually, actually. I hope that that's what's happened in the last 5 classes. If it hasn't, either I haven't elucidated it properly, I haven't taught it right, which is quite possible and reasonable, or that we gotta really focus and pay attention to kind of really absorb the material. It might be a mixture. Julie, how do we know? Aren't there Jewish people who question everything, including oneself? Yeah. Sometimes the questioning is just a cop-out from doing. Question is one thing, doing is another. Don't let that be a cop-out. That, I don't know if I believe this 100%. Okay, fine. That's okay. But that shouldn't hold you back from learning Torah, putting on your tefillin, giving charity, keeping kosher, and the like. Yeah, okay. So Julie, you were saying for Anna. I got it. Okay, thank you. All right, folks. I'm Rabbi Ronnie Fine, coming to you from my home in Montreal, Canada. It's a privilege and a pleasure to share with you the Tanya. Have a wonderful day. All the best. Thank you, folks. All the best.